In medicine, the first rule used to be first do no harm. And the fact
still is, right?
No, they've changed
The
it.
Hippocratic Oath?
They've changed it, yeah. They have.
Who's they?
The American Medical Association and a lot of the medical institutions. It's
They've
similar,
been
but it's
changed
not
by
the same.
like woke ideology.
Well, you'd be surprised, actually. The medical industry's been taken over by a lot of radical
All
forces.
doctors are woke now.
Well,
He says this with such confidence, and he is so completely wrong. He is one of the most repeatedly confidently incorrect people I've ever seen. So, little history lesson for you here. The Hippocratic Oath wasn't actually believed to have been written by Hippocrates himself, but was part of some ancient Greek medical texts from around the 10th century. It actually starts with, and this was the original Hippocratic Oath, I swear by Apollo Healer, by Asclepius, by Hygeia, by Panacea, and by all the gods and goddesses, making them my witnesses, that I will carry out, according to my ability and judgment, this oath and this indenture. And that's according to a translation from the 1920s, but obviously the original thing was written in Greek in the 10th century. Also, if I butchered the pronunciation of those gods' names, I'm so sorry. I'm useless at that sort of thing. And also, the text is very small from here, and I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't actually see all the letters. The oath goes on a little bit, and then after a couple of paragraphs finally says, I will use those dietary regimens which will benefit my patients according to my greatest ability and judgment, and I will do no harm or injustice to them. Neither will I administer a poison to anybody when asked to do so, nor will I suggest such a course. Similarly, I will not give a woman a pessary to cause abortion, but I will keep pure and holy both my life and my art. I will not use the knife, not even verily, on sufferers from stone, but I will give place to such as are craftsmen therein. Which does have a similar line to first do no harm, in terms of when it said, I will do no harm or injustice, but the phrase first do no harm was never actually used in the original Hippocratic Oath at all. Now, in 1847, the American Medical Association created a code of medical ethics which was influenced by the Hippocratic Oath, but not it exactly. The British Medical Council also created the Good Medical Practice document. Now, these documents and guides, and others like them, are updated regularly, with the American code having had extensive updates in the 1940s, 1960s, and most recently in 2016. And these changes aren't big and scary and nefarious. They're not trying to get people to hurt people, or trying to get doctors to hurt people. They didn't suddenly remove the words "first do no harm" because those words weren't even in it in the first place. These updates instead were more about keeping up with current technology and changes in the medical field. There's even extensive reports for each change about what changed and why. So, for example, the big 2016 update to the American Code, in this revision, when two or more existing opinions provided substantially similar guidance on closely related topics, key content was consolidated into a single, more comprehensive opinion. For example, there were 6 separate opinions on ethical responsibilities in managing medical records, and these opinions overlapped significantly in content. The unique guidance of the individual opinions was distilled to create an overarching opinion that integrates guidance into a single source and eliminated redundancy. This results in a more streamlined AMA code with 161 opinions. Or this. The modernized AMA code reconciles guidance across different opinions by ensuring that preferred definitions and consistent terminology are used, for example, replacing healthcare proxy with surrogate whenever guidance addressed situations that involve patients who do not have decision-making capacity. Similarly, particular ethics concepts such as respect for patient autonomy are normalized as much as possible and presented in individual opinions so that key concepts and terms are invoked in a transparent and clearly consistent way across opinions. I zoomed through that because it's kind of boring, but you see what I mean? This isn't a big evil conspiracy. This isn't them saying like, hey, doctors, we're going to encourage you to start hurting people, yeah? Just do it. Hurt anyone you want. Do it. That's not what's happening. It's more like, hey, let's talk about the tech in managing medical records. Let's use words like surrogacy instead of proxy. It's basic, boring, but important stuff like that. That is all. There's nothing evil about it. And this is just minor, well, not minor because there's a lot of them, but these are just changes to the little details, because the actual code itself isn't just first do no harm, second do boop, boop. Like, that's not what any of these codes actually are. The actual codes are long and detailed. However, in the American code, the basic principles are what most people know, and they have also never contained the phrase first do no harm. They include things like 1. A physician shall be dedicated to providing competent medical care with compassion and respect for human dignity and rights. I'll pop the whole list on screen if you want to pause and read for yourself, but these were originally written in 1957 and revised again in 1980 and 2001. It's the same for the UK's code, which is updated a bit more regularly, the last time being December 2024. And again, this has basic duties, which again don't contain the words first do no harm, and they aren't subtly evil and encouraging harm either. It includes things like patients must be able to trust medical professionals with their lives and health. To justify that trust, you must make the care of patients your first concern and meet the standard expected of you in all 4 domains. Knowledge, skills and development. Provide a good standard of practice and care and work within your competence. Keep your knowledge and skills up to date, and so on and so on. Again, you can pause and read if you want. So these are the codes of medical care. They've never used the phrase first do no harm, and they're not encouraging harm now. Now, there is an oath which some medical schools in the US make their students take, and this was written in 1964 by Louis Lasagna, which is a fantastic name. And this oath was, I swear to fulfill to the best of my ability and judgment the covenant that I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those physicians in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow. I will apply for the benefit of the sick all measures that are required, avoiding those twin traps of overtreatment and therapeutic nihilism. Blah, 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 blah. Again, you can pause to read the whole thing if you want, but it doesn't contain the words first do no harm. It doesn't even contain the phrase do no harm. There you go. And this is still used in some medical schools in America today, but there are other variations too, and it's definitely not used all over the world. There are other versions that are used in other medical schools and other variations that are used in other countries and things around the world. None of them contain the phrase first do no harm. So this isn't something where they've had some big conspiracy saying, we need to remove this phrase so we can encourage people to start hurting their patients. That's just not happening. I'm not sure why Charlie is just straight up making stuff up as though people can't just easily fact check him. You could even look on Wikipedia and find this stuff.